just lifted the fence and moved it, and then they brought in the armed forces and riot gear showed up.
Yeah.
There was the guys with the tank with the lights on it.
Yeah.
And hundreds of people followed, but Letitia and I were right behind this one woman who stood up and actually moved the barricade. And she said, "This is my land, this is my government, and I'm going through."
Two buses filled with local residents, 110 in all, mostly women but with a small sprinkling of men, traveled south Friday night from the campus of Byrne-Burton Academy to Washington, D.C., to take part in Saturday's Women's March on Washington to weigh in on now President Donald Trump's election the day after his inauguration. They went to voice their concerns about his views on women and women's issues, as well as on the tone and direction his administration may be taking going forward across a range of questions. The local contingent was part of an estimated 3,000 Vermonters who were making the trek to the nation's capital for the protest. The highlight of the day was a planned march and rally on the National Mall to demonstrate their opposition to the tone and the direction of the incoming administration.
It's both going to be exciting and nerve-wracking because I've never gone to a major march or protest, and I'm going both in support of women and as a warning to our new president that we are 51% of the population.
The buses left Byrne-Burton's campus shortly after 10 p.m., arriving in Washington after dawn on January 21st, less than a day after Donald Trump had been sworn in as the nation's 45th president. From the bus parking area, the group headed towards downtown Washington, where Senator Patrick Leahy hosted a reception for all Vermonters taking part in the day's protest. During the reception, Representative Robin Chestnut Tangerman of Middletown Springs discussed why he was taking part in the day's events.
Obviously, we're concerned about a lot of different things, but a primary one for our Vermonters, I think, is not to lose ground on the civil rights that we've gained. We've made a lot of progress, and we take pride in that. And then we have the larger concerns about what the Trump administration will be doing to the budget, healthcare, education, transportation. The former Majority Leader, Sarah Copeland Hanses, is heading up a task force to try to anticipate what may be coming from Washington and get together those people at the table to be able to respond instantly.
Other marchers also expressed their motivation for being in Washington on this day.
I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a retired teacher, I'm actually still an active teacher. And I believe just so strongly in doing what's right for our children, and I'm here on their behalf.
Okay.
Thanks.
And I'm here because I'm also a mother. I have two daughters, and I worry about our future, not just females, but minorities, people of different ethnicities, and I don't want to see their rights taken away.
I'm here in Washington, D.C. today to protect the rights of my daughter in the future and the rights of all women and mine today, because I'm concerned about the future of where our country is taking us at this moment in time, and this is my opportunity to have a voice and take a stand on an issue that I think is critical for all Americans.
From the reception hosted by Senator Leahy, the marchers headed for the mall, meeting briefly at the Cannon House office building to coordinate one last time with fellow Vermonters before heading towards the mall. Kathleen James of Manchester, one of the organizers of the local group, discussed how the expedition took shape.
I'd say that the level of my activity needed to match the level of my despair. So I was devastated by the election, not entirely surprised, but very disappointed and scared and angry as well. I feel like Donald Trump speaks a language that often speaks to the worst in all of us and to the worst in our democracy. And so it was very important to me to take action. That's how I find hope. That's how I find a way forward. And like I said, the level of my action needed to match the level of my despair. So within a couple days after the election, I saw on Facebook that there was going to be a march on Washington, and same day I started organizing our trip from Manchester.
It was soon apparent after the short walk to the mall at the Smithsonian Museum that the throngs of people who were converging on the area were making it hard to get close enough to the area around the place where the main speakers would be addressing the now massive crowd. Later estimates of the crowd reckoned the numbers to be closer to 500,000. The list of celebrity speakers included Gloria Steinem, an influential feminist writer and activist from the 1960s and 70s, Angela Davis, another radical from the same era, and filmmaker Michael Moore. They took part in impromptu marches and chanted messages designed to get the ear of those who might be listening in the White House, only a short distance away. It was also an opportunity to meet up with other people from other parts of the country. Traveling from Dayton, Ohio, Rachel Magdalene discussed the perspective from her part of the nation.
I'm pro-women's rights, and I believe Black Lives Matter, and I believe in gay rights. And I'm actually the mother of a veteran, and I didn't think the Republicans treated my son very well. And so that was a big issue for me during the campaign. Trump distresses me for a lot of reasons, and what the Republicans want to do distresses me. I'm concerned about the Affordable Care Act. I personally need that. I'm uninsurable because I have several medical conditions. I'm concerned about Social Security. I'm concerned about Medicare. I see deregulation as a potential problem. We're entering the second age of the robber baron. I understand the upset of the regular Trump voter, the common Trump voter. At the same time, these are the people who are going to suffer the worst under these changes. And I really feel for them. It's not like, oh, I think they're all terrible people. No, they're just common Joes who didn't get far enough ahead in economic recovery. You can't recover from that kind of recession in 8 years and catch everybody.
After the rally and march ended in the late afternoon and the local group reassembled back at the bus rendezvous point, several of the participants reflected on the day's events.
The most crowded demonstration I've ever been a part of. What was nice was to see the diversity there of the issues that were brought up. It wasn't just one thing or another. There were all sorts of health care and special ed funding and Planned Parenthood.
Oh my God, above my expectations.
Yeah, I was feeling kind of depressed about everything yesterday, and I just feel coming here, I feel more at peace knowing this community exists and that we can congregate and make things happen if we need to.
But standing here with other women and speaking up and saying what we really care about, which are good values and tolerance, kindness, and none of those do I feel represented in Trump's personality or campaign. So I'm very proud to be here with my Vermont friends and family and all these amazing women in their pink pussy hats.
The Women's March on Washington was but one of several demonstrations that took place across the country that day. Others included places like New York, Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Montpelier, as well as overseas. As to the long-term impact, at this point, that remains to be seen. For the GNet TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.